Yo,
What's up?
what's going on, everybody? John Fitch here. We got Rule Zero going on, and we got a very studly panel today to talk about some very serious stuff.
We do have a
How you guys
Studley
doing?
panel.
We are the
doing good.
studly panel. I would put this three up against any other three panelists in a fight.
I like that. I think I could take on Ethan from H3H3 if I really try hard.
You guys can double team one guy. I'll take the other two. I think we're good.
I think
Clary, you go after his ankles, start biting at those, and I'll attack the rest.
Well, how short
Yeah,
do you
keep him
think
from
I
moving.
am? What do you think? What?
No, you can crawl. Like the ankles are way down. You got to lie down.
No.
Okay, thank you. I thought it was a short joke you were taking at me here.
No. I'll make bald jokes before I make short jokes.
All right, guys. So I came up with the topic, and I thought it was a good one because I keep getting, I put a lot of stuff up on my Twitter about, learning to fight and the importance of learning how to fight and all the positive things you need to learn how to fight. And I talk about my sons and I talk about teaching your sons stuff. And I always get somebody in the comments saying like, and your daughters, and your daughters, and your daughters, always about, you got to teach the girls how to fight too. And that always makes me wonder, is that the case? Because am I thinking like if we lived in like a real nice society, a good society, that shouldn't be a problem, right? Because the men would take care of the women and the men would know how to fight and the men would be reasonable and you wouldn't have to put women in a position where they have to know self-defense,
Yeah.
And this isn't even really about a sporting type thing. Like, oh, should they be allowed to compete or anything? No, it's more of like just the mindset, and there's a lot of cultural things in the like the movies in Hollywood, television, where you see, 120 pound, 115 pound model kicking the shit out of a 250 pound
Roundhouse. You watch Roundhouse
guy.
Kicking Chick Cop show? That's my
Right?
favorite show. Yeah.
Well, you have like a kind
Hero
of
doing luchador wrestling style.
diluted reality around fighting and capabilities of fighting. And I was wondering what your guys' thoughts on what that was, because I don't know what's right or wrong. Like you would think that you should only learn to fight for fun as a female. It shouldn't have to be a necessity.
Right.
But that's not the world we live in. And we live in a world also where guys are super soy and low testosterone. And I've seen women beat the crap out of guys before.
Well, here's a question for you guys then on that. Think about like, would you give, like you guys in the States, you guys use guns and all that stuff. Would you guys give a guy a gun who didn't have any idea how to use it for self-defense because that's his right?
Is Ryan's
Or
a
do you think that would be
robot?
kind of
Or is it just me?
What's that?
Yeah. Your mic is cutting in and out.
Your
damn.
robot. You're in and out. Is your girl using coffee?
I
or
understood that though because I mumble a lot and I understand mumblers. So Ryan was saying, would you give a gun to a guy who didn't know how to use it to protect you? And that's no, no, I wouldn't, because a guy who you give a gun to who doesn't know how to use it is probably going to get it taken away.
Well, I'm thinking like more overall, should women know how to fight for self-defense? Yes.
Well, is it going to help?
That should be anybody.
Am I still?
That's a good.
Sorry, guys.
That's a good way to put it.
There's a delay of
You're a
some
little
kind.
delayed.
Yeah.
Here,
Well,
I'll
guys,
kind
your
of rejoin.
Canadian
We'll see if that
internet?
makes a difference.
Okay. Well, Fitch, I was just gonna say.
I see what he was saying though. He was saying that teaching it. You could teach a girl self-defense for 10 years, and she could be really great at all the techniques and those things. But does it matter when the 250-pound guy comes along? Is it going to matter?
Well, I mean, isn't it better that they put up a fight? Like not that this is the best data ever. I'm no criminologist or anything like that. But back when I worked security, you always fight back. You always fight back no
100%.
matter what. And sometimes girls could scare off. Same thing with like mountain lions or anything like that. You don't just let it sit there and attack you. You always fight back. So
the guy in the bear last week.
Yeah. You see that? Holy cow! Yeah, you guys think I make this stuff up? Oh man.
Well, I'm not saying it's better.
Women should absolutely.
You give her. Sorry, my better is this volume still shitty?
No, it's worse.
So yeah.
All right. Anyways, you were saying.
Man.
All I'm saying is, absolutely women should have self-defense. There's no doubt about it. But I would argue that today and increasingly going into the future, women are going to have to defend themselves simply because we're not getting married as much. You're not as accompanied by a man. This isn't red pill. Oh, the woman's left us alone. Ha ha ha. It's like, no, you girls don't have an escort. You're by yourself. And I'm somewhat sympathetic because back in security, that's the whole reason our security department existed. We would walk girls home, and then it expanded into general campus security. But without a husband, without a boyfriend, you are now by yourself a lot more. And newsflash for the ladies, you are the physically weaker sex. So you should take that very serious. And if you guys have daughters or any loved one that's a female, yeah, absolutely.
All right, is this one better?
Yes.
Okay, it was the noise cancellation. I had to turn that off. Here's my thinking. If you make it so she can fight, fighting is now a tool as opposed to running. That's why I was mentioning the gun thing before. So if you give girls the option, yeah, fighting is an option for you, but it's really not. And let's face it, no ass kicking, ass kickings don't fall out of the sky. Every time there's a fight, situational awareness and a good pair of shoes will beat out almost any self-defense technique you own, right?
Well, that is one of the things I teach about self-defense. So I teach self-defense is that situational awareness is number one, right? Like, be aware of what's going on around you, and number two is avoidance. Like, the biggest part of self-defense is just staying out of trouble altogether. I've developed a knack for sensing when trouble's coming, and I've dodged so many bullets. I left 2 minutes before the police came. I left 5 minutes before a big riot broke out. Like, we were sitting after one of my fights out in Florida. Me and my coach were sitting at the bar drinking, and I just sensed that these two guys at the end of the bar something was off. And I was like, hey, Gary, watch these guys, because his back was to them, and I didn't want something to happen and him get hit in the mix. And he's like, okay. So he kind of turns and he keeps them in his periphery a little bit. Sure enough, like within 2 minutes, those guys were throwing down, knocking stools over. And Gary's like, holy crap, like, how did you see that? It's just, you could just sense certain things. And that's part of that situational awareness, which is, I count that as self-defense, not just punching people and kicking people.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're gonna get a mug, sure, you may be able to fight off the mugger, but how much do you have in your wallet? Is it really worth? Like, are the contents of your wallet really worth the chance?
You got your noise cancellation on again.
Imagine that one lucky hit, your head cracks off a curb. Like, there's a risks element to it, which I don't like. So that's why I don't like the idea of women learning for health, learning for fitness, learning for confidence. That's great, but
learning for fun,
learning it for self-defense in a dangerous situation is the best approach. But again, I'm like Clary. I don't have data behind this. This is just me.
No, I mean, and that's the thing, is because my data is personal experience. You know, I've seen brown belt, black belt, world championship level women practicing and competing with men who are the same size or smaller. And those guys, they have 6 months of training, and I've seen them smash, a black belt. Just because she knows all the skills still doesn't mean that she can use those skills around somebody who's just physically stronger. Like, it matters. Like, size and strength matter. That's why so many jiu-jitsu guys are on steroids.
Well, and I would also say for the girls, just for your own safety, you are not the roundhouse kicking chick cop. You are not Captain Marvel. The shit will get real. You will lose. And so avoidance and situational awareness is one thing, but man, get mace. That's what, or there's used to be this thing called Quorum. I don't know if the company's still anymore, but it's basically a noise making device, sounds an alarm. And if you pull it's like kind of like a small grenade, you pull the key out, this very high, loud pitch noise, but any kind of defense mechanism like that is absolutely mandatory for a girl that's going to be walking by herself, to go nightclubbing and all. And here's another thing, I know in the absence of guys, girls have resorted to the bottle and drugs. You probably shouldn't be drunk. And I know there's
if you're alone, yeah,
there is a contingent of women that teach men not to grape, it's like, okay, that's nice. All right. There's still some bad mentally ill psychopaths out there.
Teach tigers not to eat people in India.
Yeah. You still need to take responsibility for your safety. You still need to take and you could play in perfect ideal world. Like, well, men shouldn't. Fine. Wear your fishnets at 3 a.m. down a dark alley, but at least have the sense to bring mace or walk with some friends or do something like that. And
that's probably one of the biggest things I would say is, and suggest to women is always travel in groups. Always travel in groups. Like there should be 3 or 4 of you always. Even then, that's not a guarantee. I did a learn to fight, and it was women. It was a pack of 3 women walking down the street, and some guy just walked up, started hitting them. Like they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to react. But I don't know if them knowing anything would have done any difference because it was a big, strong guy. And I don't think even if they had training, they would have been able to stop him.
If they had mace, would it have stopped him?
That's a possibility.
Yeah. No.
But it happened so fast because they're just walking down the street and the guy randomly punches one of them.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't like
somebody
was yelling or angry and it built up to a fight.
Ryan, turn on and off your noise cancellation again.
All right.
Well, I think it's the bandwidth or something because you're talking and it comes out real fast.
Okay, here me.
Sounds good now.
Now it sounds good. Okay, I went down to potato quality video.
Okay. Yeah, there's a delay, but at least the audio is fine.
Yeah. So that's what it is. It's like the type of self-defense, like because I get frustrated. I see a lot of people who are teaching, 6-punch combinations and jumping kicks and crap to people in self-defense, and that's ridiculous. Like it's not a boxing match. I do the learn to fight videos on Mondays on YouTube, and I show all the time that people need to be able to get away and not force themselves into the fight and engage. Like it's not about trading punches and knocking people out like Anderson Silva.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I guess we should say for both men and women, because I don't know, it doesn't seem that controversial of a topic to me. But maybe some women's egos get involved. Men's egos certainly do. Where you're like, no, I'm going to show this guy. It's like, no, man, you get the hell away. Like you don't want to go to the hospital missing an eye or a bloody nose is the worst of your concerns. This is not like you're fighting on a high school playground when you're 10. You got 150, 200-pound man putting all of his weight into one punch. You're going to sustain some kind of damage, and unfortunately, it might be irreparable. So yeah, avoidance, male or female, is the number one thing. What I'm more concerned about is the changing social dynamics and how that changes people being in public in the instances. Like, for example, currently you'd have to worry about drug addicts punching you, grabbing your stuff and running. They're not there to shove chests in each other at a sports bar because somebody's team beat somebody else's team.
Yep.
That's kind of where you got to worry about it. But I'm also wondering now with women's attitude, like, do you actually think you're going to take on a guy who's 185 pounds?
And
do
that's
you,
the problem.
do you actually believe that you have the right to walk down that alley?
I'll show you an example. What you're talking about.
Ooh. Oh yeah, that chick.
Have you seen this one?
No, but I mean, I can forecast what's going to happen.
She's yelling, talking. She's a German chick, yelling and talking a bunch of smack to some guy. I don't know exactly what she said. Abu American said that she was saying stuff about his mother. Hits him, boom. It's just reset.
Was this fake or is that real?
That's real.
Is she getting up? Oh,
yeah, and then she just kind of like stands there. But that's one of the things that is worrisome to me is like this false sense of confidence. This like, oh, well, I got my blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I know how to do this punching combinations. I knew how to do these things. And then, oh, now I'm drunk at a bar. I'm going to talk shit to this, 250-pound man.
Well, that's why I'm saying I'm worried about the social. Now, I don't care. That's an example of Darwin. You know, some idiot's going to go up against someone bigger and stronger than her. I really don't care that much. I mean, and choose your path in life, ladies. That's fine. But yeah, I think we can avoid that.
That was another learn to fight I had. The guy cheap shot the guy. The guy fell down, started walking towards the door, was going to leave the door, turns back around, pulls his gun out of a bag and shoots the guy.
On the ground?
No. The guy who got hit.
Yeah.
Like, so a guy got cheap shotted.
Yeah.
Like he got up, started to leave, turned around, pulled a gun out and shot the guy. So the guy who got hit shot the cheap shotter.
Right. But the cheap shotter's dead, right?
Probably. More than likely.
And then the guy who shot the guy is in jail.
Probably.
Right. Have you guys ever gotten on a fight over a girl?
No.
Okay.
I learned that lesson early on.
Fight over a girl, or I punched a guy in the mouth for sleeping with a girlfriend, but that wasn't like, oh, I'm fighting for her honor. I was just like, he was a teammate, and I was like, you're a dick, and I hit him. That was the end of it.
Yeah, there was a time, didn't come to fisticuffs, but there was this guy chasing after my girl, and I should have just like, she's yours. I should have just like, yeah, she's all yours, buddy. Go have her. But you gotta. I know emotions and biology, your genetics, especially with men, play a huge role. Like, that's my woman. No. Literally, think about afterwards. Like, I'm going to jail. I have got a criminal record. Even if you're in the right, you punch some guy, let alone shoot him. No, and you really got to think, is this worth it? Now, for guys fighting over a girl, and in theory, that'd be genetic lineage or guarantee. I don't know what you girls are fighting over, like that one at the bar. I have no idea. That's just vanity, pride, ego, feminist hatred. You're gonna lecture him about some grievance or confident, right? Like, and then now I don't know. It looked like she got up and there was no damage, but that was lucky. You know, what if she had a fractured
pride
skull?
got hurt.
Right. Well, it should have. It absolutely. I don't care what the guy said to her. Like, what's wrong with you?
Well, and then it's like she was yelling really awful things at him, and then she hit him first. Yeah.
Well, good.
So I don't care. I don't even know. Like, that's tough too, man, because like, so it's self-defense, but at the same time, it's like, ooh.
I don't care how many corpses end up in an alley or how many people get knocked out, male or female, at a bar. I really don't. But especially for the women, and for men too, don't even, choose your battlefield. Don't even get into this type of stuff.
Yep,
and I would say, looking forward, especially for women, and I don't know, we'd have to look at it, but everyone faces kind of the same risks. The drug addict that needs their drugs, someone just robbing you for money. Girls, you're gonna have to look out for the guy who might abscond with you and make off with you and have his way with you. I'm wondering more commonly now going into the future, because you no longer have men escorting or accompanying women. The men are kicked out. You got to worry more like about stalker types, and even a soy boy whose testosterone you've whittled away at. Even he, if he's tall enough and big enough, is stronger than you. And it would help to punch and fight, but I think that's going into the future. That's what a lot of like an Elliot Rodgers type. Now, usually they're cowards are going to grab a car or a gun or something like that and go on a rampage. But what if you got some kind of stalker guy that thinks that you're his property? What if you got some guy who doesn't have the balls to go hit the gym and ask you out on a proper date and ends up, stalking you? I think that's something girls are going to have to worry about going forward. In either case, the scenario is the same. If you are by yourself, you're an easier target. There is no guys that are going to come save you unless it's the cops, and they're minutes away when seconds count. And so situational awareness. I would always recommend girls carry mace. You girls are not allowed to carry guns. You're not. I don't know if you knew this is a thing called hypocrisy. You keep voting to take gun rights away, so you don't get guns.
Well, certain places they do have constitutional carry.
It's a joke. That was a joke. It's because women vote Democrat all the time. And ooh, guns are gross and icky. And it's like, well,
and it's funny because that is the one true martial art or one true self-defense that they
Equalizer.
would need to learn the most, and that's situational awareness, and then how to access your weapon, how to maintain your space and distance, how to access your weapon. Then you'd have to learn weapon, weapon control. You have to know how to keep the gun. So if anybody grabs it, you need to be able to wrestle it away from them. Because if you're bringing a weapon into a fight and you haven't had excessive amounts of training in how to use it, how to access it, how to present it, you're just giving your attacker the weapon. It's like, here's my gun. Like somebody put that in the comment. I should put that up. Right there it is. Guns beat karate every time.
Yes, paper, rock, scissors.
This is what
guns, karate.
It's funny, but this really irritates me because I always get these guys in my comments. Well, that's why I carry a gun. That's why I carry a knife. I was like, if you don't train how to access that gun and use it and keep it, you're just giving somebody else a weapon.
Yeah.
Like, guys don't understand.
Is my audio good now too, John?
What's that?
Is my audio good?
Yeah.
Because I thought you were you're talking about the 22-foot rule here too, aren't you?
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting into, the 20-foot rule. I always knew that we did it, the training with 20-foot rule. We did it with airsoft and we did it with sim rounds. But basically the 20-foot rule is that you need at least 20 feet distance between you and another person, like to draw your weapon and fire one time. That's on average. Like you could have some marksmen who are really fast and they might get it in 15 seconds, but most are 15 feet. But like most people, that's the general rule. 20 feet. You need at least 20 feet to access your weapon, charge that sucker, and then fire it. One shot. And then guns aren't magic. They're not lasers. It's not like the movies where the guy vaporizes and turns to dust. You shoot the guy, what was it? 50 Cent got shot like 8 times, 9 times. He didn't die. Like you get hit once or twice, you can keep going. And if you have a weapon, if it takes you 15 minutes to bleed out, you still have 15 minutes to kill that person with your bare hands. It's not magic. Like
well, go ahead,
martial arts training and training at the gym, like you still have to do the training with the guns and the knives. You still have to train. Like it doesn't excuse you from, it's not like, oh, well, I carry the gun now, so I have a magic shield and I'm protected.
I unfortunately think that women are going to put the same amount of serious thought and effort and training into self-defense as they are their college degree and choice. Very, very little. Going forward again, I think a lot of them are in this idealistic world that I should be safe and I should this and I'm entitled to that, and it's the world of shoulda and not how it is. And so I think, ladies, just please, for God's sake, get some mace, because that one, you're going to probably spray yourself too. But that's your easiest thing. But then also other stuff, like just avoid bad situations. But if you're going to insist on going to nightclubs or debatable places and all that, and I'm gonna wear my fishnet stockings, which I think is going away. I think that may be another thing. Like what I mean, it's really weird, but I mean the nightclub is dying. So you're not going to have a lot of these guys have no testosterone. Fights are going down. They're jerking off the porn. So it's kind of getting safer in that sense. But if you go to the wrong part I'm serious, you're going to the wrong part of town, there's going to be drug deals. And it's kind of interesting. But, I guess, ladies, I'm always pro gun, especially if you know how to use it. But if you're not going to put the time into it, just do mace. And no, you're not. Even if you did go training in jujitsu and martial arts, as Fitch is telling you, you simply lack the physical strength to defend yourself. So dare I say, women, watch their behavior and be demure, or is that sexist and bigoted, or is that in their best interest? All
right, Elon owns it now. You're safe.
Yeah, Elon owns Twitter now. Well, we're still on YouTube, so we might get shut down on YouTube.
I was thinking about your college degree thing. I think a lot of people misunderstand the importance that just lifestyle makes to this. Like, if you live in a nice neighborhood, do you think somebody in Dayton, Ohio has to worry about getting curb stomped on the street over a $50 crack pipe? No. You think somebody in Victoria, BC has to worry about it? No. It's people who live in like downtown Detroit. So yeah, if you picked a better college degree, that's probably one of the best self-defense. Get a college degree or a rich husband. I guarantee you, your opportunity for violence drops down to almost zero.
Right. Well, and that's environment, choosing where to go. I'm trying to think. I've never gotten in a fight hiking in the middle of the Badlands. That's because no people there. But you know, I have come to, you know, it's probably downtown nightclubs or bars where you've ran into someone. I don't start anything, but there's people drunk and pissed off and egotistical. Yeah, it's the cities. It's,
Oh,
you know.
dude. And any of you guys rednecks? I know, John, you were a redneck. You know this for a fact. It's never when people are drinking that fights start. It's when the booze runs out that's the fights start.
Well, man, it's not always
You've
the
seen a
booze
bunch of
running
rednecks
out.
beat the shit out
It's
of each
like
other
the
when they're out of
end
beer.
of it's the end of the party. It's like
Yeah.
guys, they're looking for the girls, and when there's no more girls left, there's a bunch of guys standing around. It's like, okay, it's time to fight. It's like there's no girls here. What else do we do?
Sticking
That
my
guy's
fist
looking
in
at me
something
funny.
tonight. It could be you or her. I don't care.
Or the guys get worked up because they've been around, the girls have been talking and drinking and having fun, and then the girls went off with somebody else.
Yeah.
What
You know?
what would you say the outside of no joke criminals stealing your money because they need drugs or actual rapists? How much of it would you say physical altercations that happen to women are because of men chasing women, because there's some kind of sexual dynamic to that, and the guy hits on her perhaps egregiously or impolitely or something, and then she mouths off, or there's a fight at the bar because two guys are fighting over the same. I mean, I gotta imagine it plays a role in 75%
No,
of
I
these
worked years. I
altercations.
worked security for like, you know, 5 years or something like that at bars, and you see it. Because there are girls who will purposely like set traps. I don't know. They're like, they try to stage the fights.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna
My
flirt with
boyfriend
this
could
guy,
kick
then I
your
come over and
ass.
flirt with this guy, and then I'm gonna make my boyfriend jealous, and then the fight breaks out, and then you see her like super turned on. There's a fight. Like that's happened
I'm
more
joking,
than
man.
once.
This was my hometown. This is exactly what I saw all the time. My boyfriend could kick your ass. That was like, you remember in Jurassic Park where the water was like, that's that moment. You're like, oh boy, get the
No,
turn the flashlight off. He's coming.
There was one night. It was a girl like she was like scamming. Like she kept talking to two guys on different sides of the bar, and she was getting coke from both of them. So she's like, "Go to this guy, get some coke. Go to the other guy, get some coke." And then like the guys are like, "What the hell?" And then they end up, you know, getting into a little scuffle. Yeah, you see it.
Do drugs help these situations?
Make them a lot worse, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay. They don't help.
Making people paranoid, and well, I mean, if you got a bunch of stoners, they're just gonna lay around and sit and talk about stuff.
Why do I wish I
characteristic.
You're a different level of animal if you're smoking weed and like looking for fights. That's a different level.
I'm picturing that guy in my head right now. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm gonna smoke this joint and fuck some people up.
Well, do we have to worry? I mean, is this an increasing, because I haven't paid attention to crime stats in quite some time, and I do know that sexual assault or sexually related cases have been going down, largely in part because men's testosterone has been going down. The single largest contributing factor to that is porn. Not the testosterone going down, but
you also have less instances of men being willing to be alone with women.
Less instances of men willing to be alone with women.
Yes,
oh, okay.
Because of the Me Too and all that other stuff. So, like, you know.
But if men, without the testosterone juice to start fights, and with just less dating and less going out, people being, you know, one could argue people
you get
socializing digitally as opposed to in person. I gotta imagine. Well, hang on, maybe I'll look it up. I gotta imagine a lot of these incidents are going down, and what we see now is more, you know, world of hip hop smackdowns where a girl's mouthing off to a guy and someone happened to get it on camera.
Oh, you just think it's maybe being televised more? Well, I know there's one part to it. This is a black community thing. I remember way back during my Tony Sotomayor days, I remember this. They were showing that in absence of strong father figures for guidance for men, they always turned into either simps or thugs. They either get hyper feminine because they love their mom the most, or hyper masculine, like anything that she does isn't masculine. And the black community in the States kind of had it first, where a lot of guys were like fake gangsters, and they would do this stuff because they didn't know how to act like a man. And so they overcompensated. And then, you know, and I know it sounds cliche, but yeah, rap videos, you're like, that guy looks masculine. He's banging broads, making money. I'll do that. But you're getting them to play act it. But that's the problem. You get a guy to play act like a gangster, people get shot. Most real gangsters are like, unless it affects your money, they tend to, or step on your Pumas, they let shit slide.
Yeah. No, I saw that back in the 90s, you know, a bunch of white suburban kids listen to their first NWA, they listen to their first rap music, and then now they're wearing cross colors and they're gangsters and they're selling drugs, and you're just like, bro, like you live in the nicest neighborhood around.
Dude, they were scary.
I was your brand new nice car.
Town. Yeah, there was like the native gangs and rednecks, and then there was the rich kids up the hill. Those are the ones you had to watch out for.
Yeah. They got the money to get themselves out of trouble.
I'm looking at the rates, and the problem is I really want to know the source of the statistics, because there's so many women's organizations that are financially incentive to overstate it. But in general, if you look at forcible not bedroom fun time, that is a fraction of what it used to be.
Awesome euphemisms, by the way.
Yeah, well, you know, we're at the rated G adult daycare called YouTube, where we can't have adult conversations or use adult words. But if we're to like suss it out, it's definitely going down, which is I guess good. You know, it is good in that regard.
Well, what's the correlation? I don't know if I can say it. You're just the statistics man. Maybe you can figure it out. What's the correlation of rapes that happened to fat women?
I don't know. They don't have that. See, and this is a perfect textbook example of like statistics. Like, we'd love to have that data, but only God knows. Yeah. Now, seriously, back in my day, they told us it was not about physical or sexual attraction. Well, wait a minute here. No, I have some data. I'm sorry. Let me pull this up. Okay. Interesting you asked that, Fitch. They always said it was about power. Now, keep in mind, this is boomer people telling me when I was a younger man or a child that this is what it was. But the chart right here, by age and post-secondary enrollment status. So non-students and students, they have the higher, and then not college age, I presume meaning older, that is the lowest rate. So I do believe physical attraction would have a role or play a significant, at least according to that data. If you're older, men have less interest in forcible bedroom, not fun time.
So the wall is your best defense.
Yeah, it is. Sadly, you know, but also, you know, choosing the right guys to hang around with too. That's another thing that was well known when I, worked security. Crime is not usually by some random person, especially of a sexual assault nature. It is usually someone you know. Doesn't have to be with your inner circle of friends, but somebody that you know. It could be someone you know at a party, but you went to school with, you work with, someone that is within your larger social circle. And so choosing your friends wisely and choosing the guys you date, we all know ex-boyfriends or ex-husbands, that is a huge risk pool because you were once dating and now you're not. I mean, do you guys remember that video where the ex-husband goes to the house where his ex-wife and her new boyfriend are, and he's on the guy's property, and this is Texas, and the guy has a shotgun, and this guy tries to take the shotgun away from this guy, and the guy just let him have it.
Oh,
like
the shotgun, I think, was the AR.
I thought you were talking about OJ at first.
No, this is a shotgun. It was a shotgun. I mean, maybe there's a video of an AR out there.
No, yeah, I killed him, but that was. I don't think that guy got in any trouble either.
No, he was on his property.
He was on his property. It was in Texas.
The guy was threatening him. So
he told him to get off. Yeah, he told him to get off his lawn, and he didn't. So like, you're legal to shoot people in Texas. If they're on your lawn, you don't want them to.
Yeah, and I have a big,
like your
big
perfect
lawn.
state, Tappy.
Yeah, I'm in a good state too. Anyone wants to come visit me on my lawn? I got more than 20 feet.
My place is expensive. I got a security guard, so I'm fine with that.
No, yeah,
he won't even let you in the building.
Yeah, but again,
it's a robot dog.
I didn't shoot the robot dog. Did
man?
This gets back to environment and situational awareness. Like, look, you girls want to go date the thugs, and you know, the only thing that makes a girl wetter than a guy with a lot of money is a guy with a criminal record. So, you know, there you girls go. Now you're in a higher risk pool. So and then if you look at all the drama and the actual fights and the domestic violence, this is not Mortimer Snerd with his CPA. Those are more the stocky, creepy types. But if you're talking physical violence, sexual assault, sexual violence, yeah, there is a profile that these guys fit, and they're really hot, and you girls are turned on by them. So I don't know how you square that circle, but that's not my problem. So
acceptable risk, I
I
guess.
think there are types of guys who commit those violent acts, because you have, you know, the gangster type rapist, but you also have like the male feminists. You know, oh, cry on my shoulder, and then he tries to grab a
sneaky
boob.
fucker game. Yeah.
No,
those are more your stalking types. And if push comes to shove, they will, and that's a lot of times where your forcible bedroom not fun time happens, because they finally sneak in like the cuttlefish, and then they think it's their turn. So you got, but that variety usually goes off the deep end, like Elliot Rogers or whatever the latest, you know, mass shooter type is. But if you're within his wheelhouse and you've been giving, you know, I don't know, dare you lead him on and have him as a beta orbiter because you like the attention, there might be a consequence to that. But
Cappy, here's a comment. You might have numbers on this, but the feminine truth says criminal records are not hot.
Well,
got any stats on?
I could probably, admittedly, we are joking, but there's a subsegment of women. Obviously, feminine truth is not part of that subsegment of women that find criminals hot, but there is some women that find criminals hot, and it isn't necessarily the criminality; it's the fact that they fight, they're jacked,
it's the
and they're physically good specimen of men.
Idea.
What's that?
It's a bad boy idea.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, who was the Enron guy? What was his name?
Elon Musk.
Oh, the Enron guy that got arrested for all the fraud.
Oh, that Jeff something. It's a long time ago.
All right, so yeah, it's the thing about the Jeffs. How many love letters did he get in prison? How many love letters did Jeffrey Dahmer get in prison?
Yep,
exactly.
So yeah, for feminine truth, you may not like it, but you are one person in a sea of thoughterry. And as much as I don't want to say this, they broke the mold when they make you, and you are not the average woman around here. Sorry to tell you, you're special.
Right. Yeah. It's and I don't know, it seems pretty obvious to me, men that fight are better protectors and defenders on a biological, evolutionary speaking. Like, keep in mind, law and order and democracy, all that, like, this is a relatively recent event, and women still like a guy that could throw down and defend him. That's why Fitch was talking about the girl who was like, lets you and him fight. So unfortunately, that overlaps or Venn diagrams with a criminal record. But yeah, it's really how long we don't even need to look up the statistics. I wish we had, you know, percentage of fat women that are forcible bedroom, not fun time. But we'll just poll girls. All right, you got Bob. Bob is a CPA. Bob has a fully contributed 401k and is keeps a clean house. And then there is Lance. I always thought Lance was kind of a scummy guy, cool guy. Then there's Lance, and Lance has a criminal record for assault, but he's really jacked and tall, and he has no money. You girls are gonna bang Lance every freaking time, because he's just not physically attracted to Bob. But just so you know, when you're hanging out with Lance and you mouth off to him or whatever, Lance is not going to sit down and use words. There's going to maybe be some physical altercations. And then if you leave Lance for, what's another cool guy name?
Edwick? Walter?
No, Edwick. Edwick, that's so British. Edwick lives in a castle.
Edwick.
No. Lance and Chaz. All right. And you go for Chaz. Lance and Chaz are going to fight, and you might get caught up in that maelstrom. Boy, you know, it's your love life. You have fun with it. I'm just an observer.
Bristophilia. I was waiting for more. I'm like, I'm enthralled. I want to hear how this thing ends. It's like
well, you can see it. Like, Look, and I'm completely sympathetic. You have to be physically attracted to the person you're physically attracted to. You can't force yourself to like Bob. You gotta have physical attraction. Unfortunately, men with the physical traits that most women find attractive are masculine. They're willing to fight, and I would even say women find. Ryan, you were talking about it, like you don't have fathers raising boys to know when to be a man and walk away and to be disciplined and control their anger and rage. Women can't see that. Women don't see the guy who in a fight or about to fight realizes, whoa, I could get sued and I'd lose my house and my livelihood. And even if that guy could beat the ever-living crap out of his adversary, the real man, like Fitch says, his walkway don't even get involved in it. Girls don't see that. You know, Fitch, what do girls want to see? A guy counting his money and making a good legal move, avoiding a fight, or two guys duking it out in MM?
There's no feelings. There's no feelings in a guy making the right decision. There's no, oh my God, like there's no
balanced his
excitement.
debits and credits.
There's no
he paid his
adventure in
taxes
that.
early.
Yeah, there's lots of adventure in violence though.
We're still the same cavemen we were a million years ago. Nothing changed.
Yeah, we just have shiny things and robot dogs.
Yeah, like I guarantee. You know what's sad? Fitch is gonna be right. We're gonna be sitting there 25 years from now, and the robot dog's gonna be hunting us. I'm like, damn it, Fitch was right.
Yep.
Trying to take out a robot dog with a 30-06. It's got too much armor. It won't drop. We're running out of ammo, man.
You finally take it down, and then you look up, and there's drones coming in with like 6 more of them.
Oh, dude, my Terminator.
Oh God, that would suck. Yeah, you finally drop one. You're like, no,
you got him.
Some fan of Rollo Tomasi becomes the John Connor of this future. Jesus.
You've thought about this, Fitch. Already you have the downer.
I do a show Mixed Martial Mindset on Mondays, and we talk a lot about the conspiracy stuff and the weird stuff that's going on. I don't believe a lot of it, but I think some of the stuff is just put out there for misdirection. I think the government put fake news out there on purpose to get people, distracted.
Let me ask you guys this. I know we talk about this academically, but what really is it our responsibility to try to get women to take their personal safety seriously? I mean, here it is. It's nothing really new that we've added, maybe different dynamics.
But it's a hard topic, and it's like, what do you tell it? Like I tell it, like people talk to me, like I teach self-defense, and I'm going to teach self-defense because it's always better to put up a fight. It's always better to put up a fight. No matter how incapable you are of fighting, it's always better to put up a fight. It's always, claw, bite, scratch, kick to the nuts, whatever. Always try to do something.
Yeah.
It's always better, but you have to be realistic, and women don't want you to tell them realistically, like, hey, the best thing for you to do for self-defense is to never travel alone. Right. Like, just don't ever travel alone. When you're walking to your car, if you have to be alone, like you have your mace in your hand ready to go. Like a lot of them, they don't want to hear that shit. They want to learn the magic. They're just like guys, like they want to learn the magic move. What's the magic pill? What's the magic move that I can do the one time and win every time? Can I Hadouken the guy and take him out? Like, show me that.
But is that our responsibility?
Well, I mean, it's his. You're paying him for it.
Because you teach, right? Yeah. What would you say to men who are husbands and boyfriends? Obviously we can't be there the entire time. I even bought my girlfriend a matching gun. It's very romantic. We have matching sets. But what aside from like, here it is, get training, what else is the average guy with daughters, wife, whatever? What's our responsibility beyond that?
Well, I would argue for like strangers, it's just your basic humanity. Like, it'd be really sad to see another statistic, but I'm not about to invest more than this, what we're doing now. If it's somebody that, like my girl, I'll be a little more invested. I'm like, no, you're not going into that alleyway at 3 a.m. by yourself wearing that. Are you crazy, woman?
Might be robot dogs down there. Who knows what lurks in those shadows?
Exactly. Or what's your one, Tyrone? Tyrone might be in there.
Did you see
Lance,
I see the pistol whip? I was looking for it, I couldn't find it, but there was a pistol whip. The guy got knocked out. He's on the ground. She jumps and like is trying to protect his head. And then she starts like yelling, whatever, and the guy hits her with the gun.
Yeah.
It was pretty brutal.
No.
And at the same time, like you've seen it too, those redneck chicks that want you to fight for their honor because they get excited, the thrill of letting men kill each other, like they're in a Boris Vallejo painting. right there, my commitment just dropped to 0. It's like, this isn't going to work out. If you need me to kill a mother for you and eat his heart and gain his strength.
Yep.
No offense. I have not heard of a blowjob that good. If
no,
you find
get yourself a crock pot girl. Don't get the girl who gets excited about the fight. You know, not the girl who's like, oh, I can't wait to watch him fight and beat somebody up. No,
Dude,
get the girl who like gets excited about the
too,
crock pot.
Friends
right? I got my girl a crock pot. It was the greatest. It was the greatest gift anybody had ever given anybody. I could not even believe the amount of joy. And then all she does is like happily cooks me food all the time in it now.
Oh, dude, wait till you see the Dyson vacuum, the new one. It's like the Dyson 1200. My girl, it looked like Christmas and anniversary and the wedding ceremony all came on the same day when she got that thing.
I tell you, yeah, I bought her a broom. She loved that. I taught her how to use the shop vac. She's in love with the shop vac.
Cool.
It's so powerful.
I got the girl.
And these women have never been in a fight. Just throwing this out there for you, ladies.
My girl did a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but like, I didn't want to do this topic as like, oh, girls should never train, whatever. Like, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to do jiu-jitsu. It's fun to do sports. Like, you know, do the sports, whatever. But the idea that you're going to take down some big dude who's trying to do bad to you it's delusional and dangerous.
Yeah. I'm surprised that actually, I guess that's why we kind of live in that world now. Everybody is so safe and everything is so easy and failure is so like people are getting an overconfidence that I don't think we should have. Women with violence, guys thinking that, dude, my millionaire e-course, $10,000 a month script writing, it's just right around the corner. Those same guys that get hustled by grifters online are the same chicks that are getting beat up in alleyways because they thought I could take Vladimir or Lance.
I figured out the other guy's name, Vince. Vince and Lance. Those are the two 80s douchebag names. I was
going to say their dad could get my dad fired. And they're going to buy out my grandmother's farm to put a country club in there. So I got to come up with a scheme to win them back with a giant party.
80s
kids.
We got to see what you hear. Dark Knight Dev says 2 choices: be a thug and possibly get deleted, or end up in prison, or take combat sports and learn mystery method. Easy choice for me.
I would, I just only because Dark Knight happens to be a black gentleman. That's a whole different dynamic. Black women in fighting. I mean, and you could see it world of hip hop, but man, those girls will throw down and fight over the guy. That if it's and just so you guys know, I know we've been focusing on female safety. Like, you probably should leave the nightclub if women are throwing down. You should probably just leave it. That's about a point in time. And if you're dating one of those girls, you should probably
it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time before she throws something at you or hits you or stabs you, and then calls the police on you, and you get arrested and taken away for the domestic.
Well, you can't win. Either you win the fight and you get arrested, or you lose the fight and you're the guy that got beat up by your woman.
Yeah,
it's like there's no winning this one.
Yeah, and I know it's anecdotal. You know, it's kind of like you guys are talking about, has the rate of violence or sexual assault gone up? And then we see all these videos. It's kind of like tornadoes. Like once cell phones with cameras came out, you start seeing a ton more tornadoes on the internet, and the tornado rate may have gone down. I think it's just been consistent. We're just capturing more and more of this on TV. So I think women are safer. There is less violence. I mean, there's just men with less testosterone. That's the short version. But it still doesn't change that, like, okay, ladies, be safe, make the right choices, and guys, just freaking avoid it. And for God's sake, don't fight over a girl. Like, unless it's your wife or someone you know and love, like you just met this thought at the club.
You're the prize.
They're not thinking like that.
They should be fighting over you.
You'll make risks.
All right, we got somebody. I don't know if this is accurate in the chat here. He's saying that if you're charged with a misdemeanor assault, then you will be facing either a Class C misdemeanor or a Class A misdemeanor. The highest punishment that you can face is 364 days in county jail and a maximum fine of $2,500.
Okay.
So like you really want to, that's for the minor, the misdemeanor assault. So you really want to get a misdemeanor assault, spend a year in county jail where they keep rotating drunks in every weekend all the time, and pay $2,500.
Well,
on
imagine
top of
that
that,
interview.
you're in jail for a year, so you're not making money for a year, right? So that fine is a lot more than $2,500. That's like minimum. That doesn't sound, or maximum. That doesn't sound very
Yeah.
very
Well, John,
good.
picture this.
Because
I'm
what?
going to
Because some
Deloitte. I pulled my
guy
life
grabbed your
together.
girl's butt, or somebody
Mm.
said you had stupid hair, or okay, I'm gonna fight this guy and throw a year of my life away.
Yeah.
Because my pride, I can't let somebody say words to me.
Well, another thing to consider in that video you showed, who started it?
Hmm.
According to the law, who started that altercation, the guy or the girl?
Well, how do you define the start? Is it a start like who
No,
got
legally, who assaulted who first?
I'm not a lawyer, but from my perspective, she hit him first.
She
So
hit
that would
him
be
first.
Yeah.
And I know there still is like a little bit of cover ran for girls where you might get a lighter sentence, or the judge might be more lenient. I'm wondering how long that's going to hold up, where you girls could face legal risks. You could face jail time, especially if you go and start throwing punches at guys, even though it doesn't cause the guy any harm. It's still assault. And like, let's say this guy like actually does treat you equals. Like, wait a minute, if I did this to you, I definitely would be facing jail time. And you, again, I think the dynamics is more of the interesting thing here. This is not, oh, me lady. Those days are long gone. You hit a guy and he's under 30. He's like, screw you. You're equals. And they're going to take it literally. They're not going to have their genetics hold over. They're not going to be my lady. They're going to be like, yeah, I'm pressing charges. So, I mean, you girls want to be equals. Well, if you're going to start throwing down, I think there's going to be an increasing percentage, especially, girls, they might actually present charges, a girl on girl fight. The guys may too. They may just say, yeah, we got it on video. Get her ass
from
to
a risk
jail.
perspective, that's the best approach. I was thinking about that year in the 2,500. You're working at Deloitte now. You pulled yourself together. You got a degree. You're signing up there like, hey, what's this 1 year gap in your resume? Yeah. By the way, our background check came up with this. Care to explain this? Do you think any reputable company, do you think anybody who's going to give you a loan isn't going to look at that year gap and the assault charge? Oh, it's just a misdemeanor. Well, in that case, come on in. Yeah. No, you've permanently changed the trajectory of your life. And I get it. We shouldn't have to judge anymore. I get it. AJ Cortez, like, I went to prison and I'm a better man from it, but there's a reason he's selling electronic courses online and he's not working in a corporate office somewhere, or he's not building a business somewhere. Like, was that fight really worth the rest of your life being, well, I can load trucks or I can sell self-help courses. That's my life now.
Right.
And all because she was like really hot. She smelled really nice and she probably showered every day. It's like,
is that what it was? Was it over a girl that he got in a fight, or was it?
And now his was like larceny or something like that. I don't even remember. It doesn't really matter. But when I heard the guy talking like, it's just a year and $2,500, I think that's how he was phrasing it. As if it's like, there's worse that can happen. It's like, dude, you got to look further ahead than 6 months. In your life, some effects will change like years of your life. Years. And this is why, like you're saying, the dude with the accounting thing, this is why he's not getting into fights, because he passes the marshmallow test. Remember the marshmallow test?
No, what's the marshmallow test?
Oh, it's this great self-control longitudinal study. They put a marshmallow on a kid's table.
Oh, the kids. Yeah.
And we're going to leave the room. If you come back and the marshmallow's still there, you're going to have 2 marshmallows. That part, well, like some kids ate the marshmallows, some kids didn't. That wasn't the cool part. The cool part is they followed these kids who are, I think, like 45 or something like that now, or 50. And they found it was statistically significant that the kids that didn't eat the marshmallow had better life outcomes than the ones that did.
Right.
Yeah. Well, delayed gratification. That's a huge.
That's
human survival skill.
Right. Well, and I for the girls who desperately want a criminal, I guess I could say this, and it would take some time to suss it out. I think everyone here, John, obviously, because you MMA, would I like to murder and beat the living crap out of half the guys I meet on a daily basis? Yes, I would. I mean, if you said no jail time, there'd be a little rabid pit bull being released with a Ford hat on.
The purge alarm and the mask and everything.
Yeah, part of me is looking around at society like, come on, hurry up and fall. Hurry up.
Yeah,
hurry up and collapse.
I
got some warlordism that I got to start.
I'm just trying to paint an optimism. Like, I know you girls need to have verification that the guy is willing to throw down. There are so many men who are holding themselves back because the only thing preventing them from going and being that masculine badass, beat the crap out of someone alpha is the law and their finances and their lifestyle. Like I guarantee you, like falling down, here he was, a studious little engineer, and he loses it. You know, that's why that movie resonated. So I know you girls, you know, you want to see proof, and you see the guy go to jail and stab someone, and you're totally turned on. There are plenty of guys who shave and get up every morning and go work a 9 to 5 who would love nothing more than to do that. And so you got to kind of be able to say, well, do I want the guy who could, when called for, execute violence and administer violence when it is necessary, versus, and have the guy who has the self-control, which means he's making the money via the marshmallow test and has like finances and a stable life? Or do I want the guy who's only capable of administering violence but not able to control it and consequently has no finances? You can find that guy who's just, you know, some hints, ladies, some hints. All right. He takes MMA and self-defense. He has a gun. He curses and swears a lot about Democrats and people. And so occasionally, like, if I had the they get pissed off driving slow behind other people. He's like, oh, he's so angry. He's so angry. Like, that's the guy. That's the guy. So, you know, he's the one who's like this close to ramming that guy off the road with his truck, his dually and his truck nuts. But he doesn't, because he knows he's got to go to work the next day. That's the guy you want. But
the guy with an elastic band on his microphone, that's the man you want.
We got a super chat here, and JG is saying movies romanticized criminals and made them sexy. Think about Snatch, Heat, Goodfellas, etc. The men are always anti-hero, funny, hot, likable, cocky, strong, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, well,
don't they all end up shot or stabbed in the movie?
Out there.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they're not all happy endings either, though. That's the thing. A lot of, you know, the end of Heat. It's a great movie, but the end of Heat wasn't exactly like, oh man, I can't wait to.
They made off with the money.
Actually, yeah, Val Kilmer ended off the best, and he got left by his wife, and his shoulder was messed for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Fair. Although he did get a whole bag of money. Actually, yeah, he got an entire bag of that cash, didn't he? So he actually came out. I mean, his wife had short hair anyway.
Yeah.
She was old. She hit the wall.
He hit the wall. Oh man. I got another one of these for you. I was looking for it, but I found it. Yeah.
Is it about robot dogs?
It's another situation of a
awkward that fall is.
Woman hitting a man and then him not having it.
You see, like, what
he slapped him,
right?
Boom.
Oh wow. Like, what would you do?
So that's a situation now too that a lot of women need to understand is like guys are not playing that game anymore. He was trying to break it up. It's like, no. She slapped him. He's like, all right,
yeah, there you go.
Put hands on me.
Look at how stylish he is too. Look at that matching shorts and shirt there with that straight pattern, and her walking in like a lump of Play-Doh with a tank top.
But right now, like, what should you guys take away from this environment? Like, let's say you're there, you're one of the people there. What should you immediately do?
Leave.
Not cuff the man in the face.
the second any of that scuffling and pushing is going on, I'm like, I grab my people, my stuff, I start going away.
Yep. Once I see that ratty ass hose ass sticking out of shredded spandex, I'm out. I'm gone.
Yeah. I'm not breaking up a fight. I'm not stepping in. Like when I was a doorman, like I didn't break up any fights. I stood there and waited for them to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take you out when you're tired, when you're laying on the floor. I'll drag you out by your shoes. I'm not getting involved. I'm $10 an hour. My ass, I'm gonna get involved.
Right.
Like I'm here to make sure the bar doesn't get hurt, and like the good patrons, the good people who come and spend money here aren't injured. I'm like, hey, you guys stay back. Let them handle this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just not smart. Not smart.
Do you think it is that people like getting in there because they're like clueless? They don't understand what's happening? Or do you think part of them wants to be in there? A big part of fighting is people don't know how much they don't know and understand about fighting. The other is a lot of people are drunk or on drugs in these instances. And then we live in a time of emotionalism. Okay. Because this is the big thing too, is there's a lot of violence that happens feels good to be in that.
Men are full of testosterone and we're aggressive and we're trying to climb the ladder. Right. And that's where a lot of that violence and aggression can come from. But it also a lot of times comes from low testosterone, emotional people. And I think just because like testosterone levels are dropping for a lot of men, I don't think that's like eliminating violence at all. Or
kind of rechanneling it into different
it's
forms.
the different type. It's the alpha testosterone violence versus the emotional baby, like they're grown children who are having
like
breakdowns.
pure like ego, pure temper tantrum, pure rage.
Yeah, like when my 2-year-old, you know, my kids were 2, right? When if they got mad or whatever, they might hit you or kick you in the leg or whatever, right? That's what that is. It's not like they're raging on testosterone and they're like, oh, I'm gonna have sex with somebody or kill somebody. Like that's not what's going on. It's just they don't know how to be heard and they act out emotionally and they act wrong. And you see a lot of these people are just little kids who grew up and they never really grew up. They never had a parent to teach them, no, you don't kick people in the shins because you didn't get the piece of candy you wanted. You know, you wanted the orange one and you got the blue one. You don't get to punch people for that.
Dude,
like these kids never had that and they grew up and they were told, well, you should have whatever you want.
Yeah, I was thinking of a perfect example. Do you remember that those poly couple where it was like the ugly chick and she had like the 4 boyfriends, and then like 6 months later, the one guy murdered the baby and like tried to murder one of the dudes?
Yeah.
All these guys, pudgy, soy, emaciated, nothing masculine or hyper about them. But yeah, the one guy was a murderer.
Right, but he did it sneaky, and that's what I'm saying is you're gonna have where
nobody says violence has to be overt.
Right. Violence is I think changing where, yeah, you're going to have to worry more about the incel stalking you and stabbing you quietly or going on a murdering rampage. But especially for the ladies, I think if we're talking about women's safety, yeah, there's always that risk of the drug addict and all that. But what would you guys say if there's a higher chance of her like getting a knife to the throat in the alley? Or what we saw there, these 2 girls duking it out over their boyfriend or disrespecting me or whatever started that fight. I think the women, not because they have more testosterone or less demure or feminine, but because they've been raised to be so entitled, that if somebody's disrespecting them, that's a word they use on the streets, disrespecting. That's some lingo for you kids. There's some jargon. You can use that later on. But they disrespecting me, y'all. You add that to add extra emphasis, but it's not necessary. But these kind of cat fights that, I mean, and if a woman fights a woman, is there really going to be all that much damage? Probably not. But I think there's a higher chance of that happening in your 20s and your nightclubbing days than there really is some guy, you know, threatening you in an alley or with a gun or something like that. So I would still have, you know, again, situational awareness. If you're at that party or the street festival or whatever that previous video was, man, that'd be the time to leave. That would just be the time to leave. I don't care if whoever was making.
Well, I guarantee you, Aaron, there was a period of time before that even got to that level where it was time to go.
Oh yeah.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know, you can like that's one of the things with one of my gifts is like sensing trouble. Like I think it's time to leave. I think it's a good time to go. You got to pay attention. You know, people getting heated, people arguing. The people who get into fights at the end of the night at the bar are the ones that are usually kind of like you see them early. You know, you see them early on. You see them around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and you see how they behave. You see how they act. You see them drinking. You watch it. You see this snowball. Like, oh, this guy had a chip on his shoulder when he came in. I've had nights where we tell each other, hey, man, watch these guys. Like there's something off with them. Like they're out here looking for something. They're looking for trouble. You know, they're trying to blow off.
People can't handle liquor either. Have you seen those types where you get like that 3rd drink in and their eyes just kind of glaze over and you realize that they're not the same person?
That's Wyoming. Yes, I've been there. Yeah, I know.
That's up in Canada too. It's like a demographic thing. I don't want to get into it further than that though.
No, you could say White Hicks. Say White Hicks. I'll vouch for you. It's White Hicks.
Oh no,
Wyoming.
In Canada,
that's where it is.
In Canada, I'm not going here.
Really? Okay.
Well, it's like
come to Wyoming. You tell me if it's different or maybe the same thing, but yeah,
it's a native thing. Their gene, they'd have a gene that doesn't let them synthesize alcohol, same as women
yeah,
do.
Yeah. No, that's.
I'm from a redneck town, so like, yeah. Do you want to know how fights start there? My favorite, well, my least favorite, but also favorite fight. There was a baseball tournament, and there was a white hick team, and there was a native band, and they had all gone to the bar at the same time. Oh boy. And there was an East Indian guy there with like 20 cousins, aunts and uncles, all that stuff. one of the white guys hit on one of the cousins of one of the East Indians. The native guys were there looking for a fight. So it was like the 3-way race war. It was the most amazing thing. The bars had to call the bars from town, and they all had to converge in like a super, like Voltron in the bar. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I was like, I saw it coming. So I'm just in the parking lot on the other side. And we're just like sitting there chilling. I'm like, Jesus, this is violent. People are hitting each other with chairs. It was Swayze couldn't have stopped it. Swayze.
Wow. Not even with a roundhouse kick?
Not even.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, I refuse to believe that people get their ass kicked and don't know it's coming. They have to be 8 kinds of stupid. I saw that coming an hour away. John sees stuff like at 8. In 4 hours, this guy's popping off. Watch.
Yeah,
I don't know. I like how John.
Here's another little video for you guys. This is what happens if you're not paying attention to situational awareness.
Wow. They're not dancing.
That's Rhode Island?
No. Yeah, Providence, Rhode Island. Yeah.
Wow. Dude, I didn't like Corona, but I had no idea that hate ran this deep.
Like, do you even know who you're punching at that time?
There's people just throwing random chairs around. Like it's
People
just there's girls in there, there's guys like
fighting in sync with the music. Look at that.
It's nuts. It's just
that hammer fist on the top of the head.
Looks like a WWE thing going on.
Yep. Big dude walked in, got hit with the chair.
Dude, imagine if these people knew how to fight and they knew how to like drop elbows and put their body weight behind it. There'd be some. Thank God people fight like toddlers nowadays.
It's a really good thing that a lot of people don't know how to fight. Like it really is, because there could be a lot more damage being done. But then that's crazy. There's chairs flying through the air.
Could we summarize, ladies, don't get in fights?
Don't people should never pick fights. People should avoid, bad areas and those type of things. But yeah, I think the big conclusion is women in self-defense, like, have a mace, have people with you. Those are the biggest things. Those top 3, I think. Situational awareness, carry some mace, and then always travel with the pack. I think
Here's
that's
a question for you, John.
Increase your likelihood of being safe.
I have a question for you, John. I'm curious what you think of this. You know, every time any one of us Rule Zero guys say anything practical, reasonable, actionable, that makes life better, like objectively so, and there's always got to be the one autistic dude and then the one feminist chick who's like tries to give you an exception and some personal example as how, well, if I'd have taken your advice, then aliens wouldn't have. Like, what do you think is the example somebody's going to bring up here if they're watching and want to be angry to explain why this is dumb and you shouldn't walk away from fights? Do you think there is one? Maybe I should be asking the chat this.
Yeah, if you talk to younger people, a lot of times, if you talk to a teenage boy, you're going to get a different answer. Because I was working with a guy and he's like, well, what do you do if they're like talking smack about you? I was like, who cares? It's like, why do you even pay attention to it? You don't got other shit to do in your life? You don't got girls to talk to? You don't have like things to learn?
It's like Roadhouse.
Why are you even bothering yourself with paying attention to what these people are saying? Like, you make something of yourself, make money, like be their boss someday. Like why are you? Oh, well, they sullied my name, my family name. I was like, this isn't Hatfields and McCoys anymore, man.
Even the Hatfields and McCoys weren't Hatfields and McCoys. It was too redneck. Do they even own anything now? Like, does the family? Are they like?
Yeah, they do actually. The Hatfields and McCoys actually own some. The family.
The Hatfields and McCoys. There was they were kind of like a legendary thing because the Appalachian people at the time, it still goes on. Like, people go disappearing. Somebody cut down a tree or hunted a deer in the wrong woods. Like, they'll come kill your family. Like, it's weird. It's weird stuff out there. But they have a lot of Oxycontin and moonshine too. Probably has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, Ryan, I was going to say the female version is like, I should be able to walk wearing whatever I want. I mean, that's going to be your autist response.
It's I should be able to walk through
alleyway with my cooter hanging
preserve, out. Right? A lion preserve wearing a meat tuxedo.
And I agree. I should
be able to do that and not have to worry about getting eaten.
I would love it if we lived in Star Trek and I had replicators for food and I got to wear that cool jumpsuit and got to fly around and meet aliens and have sex with them, but we don't live in that world. I wish you luck, good sir.
Well, have we helped out the women? I think we've helped the women. We've helped the women.
Dude, immeasurably. At this point, I am surprised you guys don't have a cult of women writing you love letters right now.
I haven't committed any crimes yet, so I'll get on that today.
I don't know. I've heard girls love men with elastics around their microphone and wearing Ford hats who like this close to like losing their shit in traffic.
Those are the finer touches. I need to lose my shit. Then I will get the girls. There's a new book. Lose your shit, get the girls. That's
I'd buy it.
Oh. Anything? Well, do we want to end it here? We got any final advice for the womans aside from don't get punched in the face?
Yeah. So my final conclusion on this: should women fight? If you want to learn how to fight for fun, cool. If you want to compete, cool. Should you learn self-defense? I think so. I think it's important. I think you really need to know some level of self-defense because it's always better to fight back. It's always better to put up a fight. But you have to have realistic expectations. You have to understand that if you have to put in a situation where you have to use your self-defense and the stuff you're trying to survive. Most situations, more cases, you're trying to survive until more help can come. You're not going to Ronda Rousey them and throw them and armbar them in the street. It's very unlikely that that's going to happen. I think women should learn how to fight, but they shouldn't have the expectation that they're going to be able to kick people's asses. Your job is to survive.
My addendum, my parting bit of advice for women is we aren't saving you because we're not there. So you're going to have to handle this yourself. You know, Bob, the accountant who was this close to losing his shit, would have thrown down for you or had a pistol and trained with it or something like that. So ladies, as is always the case, you are responsible for your own safety. Take it seriously. And then maybe one of you guys will have a boyfriend or a husband that will escort you to the car. In the meantime, you're going to have to walk in groups and you're 100% responsible for your safety now.
Yep.
All right. And I'll add to this. I think it's good to learn how to fight. I think you should at one point join a tournament, do a sparring match. I think everybody needs the experience of getting kicked in the stomach really hard to understand that fighting sucks. Have you ever been hit in the head? You never want to get hit in the head again. And so I think by learning to fight, you learn that you don't want to fight and you get away from fights. I think that's the best lesson for you. And what was the old saying? The best weapon for a man is a gun, and the best weapon for a woman is a man with a gun.
Did you just make that up?
No,
I
actually got it from like an old girl writes
okay.
Video.
All right, you didn't pull that out of your ass.
No, I'm not.
They
that
say
clever.
The only thing better than a knife is a pistol. The only thing better than a pistol.
Maybe when I've written as many books as you, I could be eloquent with the wordsmithing. But until then, I just have to fake it by stealing from the better.
Oh, all right. I think we had a really good talk. I think we came to some really good conclusions. Let's close out. Ryan, what do you have going on?
Honestly, for me, the channel's back. Second book is almost done. Sign up to the newsletter. As I finish the editing, I send excerpts out there so you can guys see what's involved in it. That's ryanstone.com/newsletter. New videos on the way. I got a new red-pilled coffee and some awesome chick talks. So we'll get those on the go. But yeah, it's all going to be fun. Just sign up, tune in. You'll see. You'll enjoy it. That's it.
Nice.
Aaron. Do you want the Rollo Tomasi version or just the Aaron Clary version? What's going on?
Whatever you got.
Just follow me on YouTube, Aaron Clary. You can find the things I do there. And the only other thing I got is my minimalism course. If you got financial troubles and you want to stop spending more than you make, Achieving Minimalism. That's the course I offer at Teachable. It's incredibly expensive and don't complain about it. There you go. That's what I got.
All right. Go to johnfish.net, sign up for the newsletter. I've got my show, John Fish Knows Nothing, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on the left coast. Wednesdays, I put up technique videos on the YouTubes. And what else we got? Learn to Fight videos. Check out the Learn to Fight videos. I show you fights in the wild, break them down, what people should have done, what they did wrong, that type of stuff. The one that's coming Monday is called Hatchet Man. This guy in New York Subway at a McDonald's pulled a hatchet out of his bag and started smashing stuff up. It's fun. It's a fun watch, but check it out, guys. Check me out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming, guys.
No problem.
And I hope you guys liked my thumbnail skills.
That's actually really good. Yeah, I thought Rolo put it together. That's awesome. You did good, Fitch.
Moving up, man. Moving up. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll catch y'all later.